Trump ties Russia sanctions to NATO's oil purchases, pushes tariffs on China. On September 13, President Donald Trump announced he is ready to impose sweeping new sanctions on Russia, but only if NATO members commit to halting purchases of Russian oil. Posting on Truth Social, Trump accused certain allies of weakening NATO's leverage by continuing to import Russian energy despite promises to reduce dependence. "I am ready to do major sanctions on Russia when all NATO nations have agreed, and stop buying oil from Russia," he wrote. Trump argued that a united embargo, paired with tariffs of 50 to 100% on China, could cut off Russia's economic lifelines and end the war in Ukraine. He emphasized the conflict began under President Biden, adding, "This is not Trump's war. I am only here to help stop it." Trump's remarks came after a G7 finance ministers meeting where Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer urged allies to match Washington's tougher stance. They stressed that cutting off Russia's oil revenues was the only way to cripple Vladimir Putin's war machine, while also suggesting frozen Russian assets could be redirected to Ukraine. Sanctions and tariff pressure. Calls for stronger sanctions have intensified since Russia's largest aerial assault of the war earlier this month, which killed 4 and injured dozens. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged Western nations to impose tougher tariffs and restrictions, while Bessent said coordinated US-EU measures could collapse Russia's economy and force Putin to negotiate. Trump has already expanded measures beyond sanctions. In late August, his administration doubled tariffs on Indian oil imports to 50%, citing New Delhi's growing reliance on Russian crude. He has also threatened tariffs of up to 100% on China and India, pressing the EU to consider similar steps. China dismissed the move as economic pressure, while India defended its imports as essential for energy security. Russia's share of India's crude supply has risen to nearly 40% since the war began, while China now accounts for nearly half of Russia's fossil fuel revenue. Frustration over peace talks. Alongside economic pressure, Trump has urged direct peace talks between Putin and Zelensky. While he has suggested putting both leaders in a room, Zelensky rejected any talks in Moscow, citing ongoing Russian attacks. Putin has said he is open to negotiations but doubts Ukraine's readiness. Meeting with Polish President Karol Nawrocki, Trump expressed frustration at stalled talks but insisted he will withhold his strongest sanctions until NATO moves in unison. "If NATO does as I say, the war will end quickly," he warned.